Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. And if you thought you were ready for today's video, I promise you, you are not. Because what we are about to break down is the kind of storyline that makes you put your phone down, stare at the ceiling and whisper, "They really did that?" So here is what is happening in Fairmont Crest right now. And I need you to buckle up because this is a lot. Two people with a deeply complicated, emotionally charged, unresolved history that have been circling each other for weeks. The lingering looks, the arguments that feel too heavy for what they are about on the surface. The moments where one of them says something and you can feel the other person physically holding themselves back. All of it has been building. And then quietly, privately, completely alone, one of them discovers they are pregnant. And from that single moment, everything in Fairmont Crest begins to crack open. This is not just a pregnancy reveal. This is the stone that starts the avalanche. Let us talk about how this started. Because the way this reveal unfolds is honestly so much more powerful than a dramatic public explosion. And that is exactly what makes it hit so hard. It does not happen in front of a crowd. It does not happen in the middle of a screaming argument. It happens alone, quietly in isolation, one person, overwhelmed and shaking, staring at a test result that changes the entire trajectory of their life in a matter of seconds, and I cannot stress enough how much that choice to show this moment in private, in stillness makes the emotional weight 10 times heavier. Because there is no one there to comfort them, no one to react with them, just them and the truth and the terrifying silence that follows. Imagine how that feels. One minute you are navigating a complicated entanglement with someone you have history with, someone you cannot fully let go of but also cannot fully commit to. And the next minute that entanglement is no longer just emotional. It is permanent, it is real, it has a heartbeat. I cannot imagine sitting in that moment alone and trying to process all of that at once. The fear sets in first, and then comes the flood of questions that I am sure every single viewer felt alongside them. How did this happen? What does this mean for everything? And the biggest one, how is the other person going to react? So, they keep the secret, and honestly, can you blame them? Because keeping that secret, even temporarily, makes complete sense when you are that scared. But here is the thing about secrets in Fairmont Crest. They do not stay manageable. They grow, they seep into every single interaction. Suddenly, every casual conversation feels loaded with something unspoken. Every small disagreement carries weight that with it should not carry. Every moment together becomes a performance because one of them is walking around carrying this enormous truth and pretending they are not. And the longer it goes on, the more unbearable it becomes. When the reveal finally happens, it does not come gently. Of course it does not. Nothing in Fairmont Crest ever does. It erupts, fueled by heightened emotions, misunderstandings, and the kind of raw honesty that only surfaces when there's no other choice left. And the reaction? Immediate, intense, shock, then disbelief, then anger, and beneath it all, something far more complicated, vulnerability, because this moment strips both of them completely bare. There is nowhere to hide anymore. There is no version of this conversation where either of them gets to stay protected behind their walls. And here is where it gets really interesting, because their reactions could not be more different from each other. And that contrast is what makes this storyline so emotionally rich. For one of them, this pregnancy feels like a trap, like the universe reached into their carefully constructed life and yanked out every plan they had ever made. They start questioning everything, the timing, the circumstances, even the intentions behind it. Old fears come rushing back, specifically that deep, paralyzing fear of being tied to something or someone they are not ready to fully commit to. I can't believe how raw that response feels, and yet it makes complete sense for who this person is. This is someone who has spent a long time protecting themselves emotionally, and suddenly they have no protection left. For the other person, though, this pregnancy means something entirely different. To them, this is not a disaster. It is a door, a turning point, a chance to finally build something real out of a connection that has always felt uncertain and undefined. And that hope, that fragile, cautious, desperately held hope, is honestly one of the most emotional things about this entire storyline. Because they want this to mean something. They need it to mean something. But they are surrounded by doubt, mistrust, and the heavy shadow of past mistakes that never fully healed. So even their hope comes with pain attached to it. Then the news spreads, because of course it does, and Fairmont Crest immediately catches fire. Friends and family pour in with their reactions, and not one of them is neutral. Some see this pregnancy as a blessing, a chance for healing and growth, and a new beginning for two people who have been stuck in an emotional holding pattern for too long. Others are far less generous and watching everyone take sides, watching loyalties shift and alliances crack, is absolutely wild. What began as an intensely private moment between two people has now become a community wide storm. And there is no putting that back in the bottle. But wait, because just when you think you understand the full shape of this situation, a third party enters the picture. Someone with their own emotional investment in what happens here. Someone who does not respond calmly or rationally when they find out the truth. And the explosion that follows, accusations, old betrayals dragged back into daylight. Chaos erupting in every direction. I can't believe things escalated that fast. But then again, this is Fairmont Crest. Things always escalate, the situation goes from delicate to volatile within moments, and suddenly multiple relationships are teetering on the edge of complete collapse all at once. And through all of this external chaos, the internal journey of the expectant parent becomes increasingly complex and increasingly beautiful. Because amid the fear and the noise and the judgment, something quieter begins to happen. A bond starts to form, slow, almost reluctant at first, but undeniable. A sense of protectiveness that grows stronger even as everything around them feels unstable. And watching that internal shift happen in real time, watching someone who was terrified begin to feel something that resembles purpose, that is genuinely moving. The other person is shifting too, though their journey is harder and slower and marked by setbacks that make you want to reach through the screen. Their initial resistance does not disappear overnight. It bends under the weight of reflection. They start, just barely, just tentatively, to consider what stepping up might actually look like. To imagine a version of themselves that they never planned for. It is a painful process, full of internal conflict and moments where they almost close back off completely. But the fact that the shift is happening at all says something important. And just when it seems like they might find some common ground, some way forward, a new complication emerges. Because in Fairmont Crest, nothing stays hidden forever. Whispers begin circulating about the timeline. Questions arise about what really happened during a critical window of time. Could there be more to this pregnancy than meets the eye? Is everything exactly as it seems, or is there another twist waiting to reveal? The uncertainty reignites tension, threatening to undo any progress that's been made. Trust, already fragile, is pushed to its limits. What makes this storyline so devastatingly effective is that it functions on multiple levels simultaneously. On the surface, yet, it is a pregnancy reveal, a classic dramatic device, but what the writers have done here is use that reveal as a pressure test for every single relationship in Fairmont Crest. It exposes who people really are when they are stripped of comfort and pretense. It forces characters to confront their deepest fears, their most selfish impulses, and their most genuine capacities for love and courage. The ripple effects are not just dramatic, they are deeply human, and the unanswered question hanging over everything, the whispers about the timeline, the possibility of yet another secret. That is genius storytelling, because it means this is not resolved, it is still unraveling, and we are all along for the ride. Honestly, this is the kind of storyline that reminds you why you got invested in a show in the first place. The emotional complexity here is real. Neither person is entirely a villain, neither person is entirely a hero. They are both just people, terrified and flawed, and trying to figure out what to do when life hands them something they were not prepared for. And that is what makes it so compelling to watch. I'm fully invested. I need answers. I need the truth about that timeline, and I need to know if these two people are actually going to find their way through this. Or if Fairmont Crest is about to blow everything apart all over again. So there you have it. The full breakdown of one of the most emotionally loaded storylines happening in Fairmont Crest right now. This pregnancy is not just a plot twist. It is a catalyst, a force that will reshape relationships, redefine priorities, and expose truths that have been buried for far too long. And when the full truth finally comes to light, it won't just change everything between them. It will change everything for everyone. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think they will actually face this together? Or is another betrayal coming that tears them apart for good? And what do you think those whispers about the timeline really mean? Drop your theories in the comments. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in the next one.